Hey, what's up, everybody? Grant Wise here, and I'm excited for the conversation I'm going to get to have today about home security. I've got Chuck Robinson with Preventia Security, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to sit back and chat a little bit with you, man. Nice to have you in here, Chuck.
Great to be here, Grant. I appreciate the time.
You work for Preventia. Can you give us a bit of a background on the company? Just give us some of the history there.
Yeah, so Preventia Security, we started as a residential focused life safety and security company with a focus on home automation and security services. We were founded in 2010 out of our owner's apartment at the time, and we have grown since then to now we have 6 offices across 4 states. We cover all of Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, in the Panhandle area, and then we're in Alabama as well.
Nice. So you say that the company got started in a bedroom? Is that what you said?
Our founder's apartment. There were actually 3 founders at the time, and it was run out of our founder's apartment. And our meeting space was the Panera Bread. So that's where our team reported every morning until we got off the ground.
Love it. Now you guys are on a pretty aggressive growth track, right? I mean, when I was talking to Holly on the team, she was telling me all about, how you guys are growing like crazy.
Yeah, so year over year, we grow at least 25%. That's the baseline that we set for ourselves. So we are a scaling up company. So we use the scaling up platform. We have been featured in Forbes twice, 2014 and 2018, in the Inc. 5000, being one of the 5,000 fastest growing companies in America.
That's wild. That's awesome. Congratulations. So we were talking a little bit pre-show about what's hot right now, like what's going on in home security. So give us a little bit of like the what's what in home security, like what's going on in the industry right now.
The advent of AI, the rise of the machines, it's taking over. The focus has really become on the surveillance side of security, making cameras work for you. As we all think about security cameras and everything that we know about them historically, is they're a reactive product. They're there to see what happened. With AI and machine learning, now they are becoming a proactive tool, so we can get the alerts of when the mailman walks up or when a package is dropped off at our door. So really, what we're educating our clients on is the value proposition around being able to have proactive surveillance, whether that's the use of analytics or artificial intelligence to detect motion, people, cars, packages. And the security system itself, the widget that actually calls the cops, is becoming less and less relevant. There's some legislation going on out in the marketplace that's requiring what's called visual verification to become a thing. And what that basically means is if there's an active alarm in a residential property, they want a camera on site so that the 911 center can see, is there an actual intruder on site. States like Washington, Georgia, they've implemented some legislation that unless you have that, they will not respond. We're really encouraging our clients to, at a minimum, let's put a video doorbell on every account. And then we've got some other camera styles that we find really popular, floodlight cameras, things of that nature.
So the government is basically saying if you don't have a camera on your property, we will not send 911 or the police in case of emergency.
Yeah, and all of that is stemming from our police forces are so understaffed. They can't respond to every alarm condition that goes off. Last statistic I saw was something like 90 to 95% of all residential alarms are false alarms. So that's a lot of resources if you think about it. We're actually a supporter of that type of legislation, and it brings a value add and safety to the community. And it allows that operator, if there is a bad guy on site, to tell the cops exactly what's there so they know what they're walking into. The big key selling point still on the alarm system itself is the fire detection that's there. So if you've got a fire alarm, smoke detector, or carbon monoxide detector, or a combination of the both, you get discount on your insurance premium, which is great. It's typically about 20%. Even in my house, that's really what I use it for. I don't use the security aspect as much as I use smoke detection and cameras.
Is it such a way now where even like when they're building new homes, are most contractors putting this into houses now, or is it still something that's optional?
So most home builders are pre-wiring for these systems, but they may not be including them. We do work with a handful of builders across our footprint that they have packages that they just spec and everything they build. And then they let us talk to the homeowners as they sell their homes so that we can then do the ads that may need to be added if a homeowner has a custom request.
What do you find that the customer is requesting a lot of right now? Like when we look at obviously most of the people that we interact with are real estate agents. I think that there's like a, okay, what does my customer want and why? Like, what are you guys hearing a lot of right now directly from the customers? Why are most people getting this?
Probably the most requested item is a video doorbell. Everybody wants one, whether they buy it from us or do Ring or some kind of DIY variant of it. The second most common request is probably going to be a door lock that can be controlled through their system, because then you can lock and unlock the door from your app.
I don't have one of those right now, and I've been saying for 3 years, oh man, I really need to get one of these.
And it's really great for those families that have teenagers or kids that come home from school and no one's there. You can let them in, things of that nature. And then there's also some features you can get notifications when those doors open, so you know, hey, Johnny did come home from school today. That's great.
Yeah. So mainly it's not even necessarily inside of the home. It's I want to know what's going on outside of my home, and I want to be able to do certain things at the house to make it easier for people to get in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, outside of smoke detection, people really don't want a whole lot in their homes anymore. But there's a lot of concern around what's going on around my house, what's going on around my property. And that's really what they're leveraging the system to do.
Fascinating. Now, I always think about home values, and I haven't done enough research on home security and home values. Is this something that you all have studied in the past? Like, do you know how home security impacts home values? Is it more or less valuable, or is it more or less just the individual customer and what they want, not necessarily something that might positively impact the house value?
Yeah, so I mean, it will increase the home value. Now, how much is going to be dependent upon the listing agent and the buyer. Most listings, one of the added features that'll be listed is a security system if it's staying put. Because in most states, when you install it on the wall and it's there, it becomes part of the property. So it is an actual add to the property itself.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, what else do we need to know about home security right now? I guess I never even thought of, obviously AI is a big part of, what we do in marketing and in real estate. I mean, it's something that's become a part of, I think, a lot of people's lives. But the specific use cases just for the average homeowner, like, can we dive a little bit deeper on how AI is getting integrated into the equation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would encourage take a step back. You know, home security is a term from 10 years ago, right? At the pace that the industry's changing and the technology's changing, like we've even changed our pitch. Like we are not a security company, we're a technology company. We just happen to focus in safety and security technology. And the reason I say that is the average homeowner, it again, it's not the security system that they're utilizing. It's the cameras, the features there, and then we get into automation. So automated door locks. I can schedule a door to lock or unlock at a certain time. I can control my thermostat through that exact same platform. So when I'm not home, I can have the thermostat set at one setting and then have it change to a different before I get there. And so it's really more of a lifestyle system. And that's what we're seeing more and more of. Those home owners that are really budget conscientious, you start adjusting your thermostats and things like that. You know, you can save anywhere from 5 to 10% on your energy bill.
Which can be a lot.
Yeah, garage door openers are another thing we can tie into the system so that you can open and close it from your app, and you can get an alert if the garage door is left open. So when you leave home, and we've all done it, we're driving on our commute to work, and we're like, "Did I close the garage door?" Well, with these types of systems, you can get an alert if the garage door stays open for a certain amount of time, or it's all customizable based off your preferences with rules and alerts and things like that.
That goes way beyond security for sure. Like I'm always thinking about, well, I wish I had this or I wish I had that. And I guess I just never really put two and two together, which is silly, but there's so much that you probably can do from a technology standpoint inside of a home to make it more efficient, not, from an energy standpoint, although that's something you said that could be done, but like from an efficiency standpoint, like how you use the home. I didn't really think about that. That's way beyond security for sure.
Big push right now in the whole home automation space is lighting control. So you can even add lighting control to that. You're away on vacation, you can have lights turn on at different intervals so people think somebody's home. Or we're in the holiday season, you can control outlets. So hey, my Christmas lights come on at this time, they go off at this time, and I don't have to remember to go out there and unplug it when it's freezing rain here in Middle Tennessee.
100%. What do you think is important for a real estate agent to know? Like, how should a real estate agent educate themselves on all of these things so that they can become more knowledgeable about some of what we're talking about and ultimately can have more informed conversations with the consumers they represent?
Starts with how would you ideally like to use your own home, right? Are there features and benefits in your own home that either you have now that you love or you wish you had? And when you're looking at homes to list or buy, think just like yourself. What is it that I like? What is it that I use? The average modern day consumer is the exact same across all demographics, except for the retirement age. They're still the ones that really don't like the apps and the things like that, but they still need the fire security. That's what we see in that demographic a lot is they're focused on, well, do I have the ability to get an alert if my smoke detector goes off? Do I have some kind of ability to maybe have a medical alert device? And then as you back through generation profile, the younger the generation, the more in tune they're going to be with their phone. The modern home today, 100% can be controlled by their smartphone. They don't need a hard key. They do everything on their phone or with automation schedules, and that's just what they want. I fall somewhere in the middle of those two. Like personally, I never arm my system, but it's on an auto arming schedule. Otherwise, it would never get armed. I really want the smoke detection, but I love my cameras and I love my door lock.
I think that's the thing that I would use the most. I would use the door lock every day because it's just a part of me going in and out of the house. But I think it's wild to sit back and think about all the other things that could be done to equip your house in a way that allows technology to make life a little bit easier. As you guys work in a lot of different territories, do you ever see that real estate agents make some of what we're talking about here today part of their value proposition? I mean, do realtors offer up these types of things like a Ring doorbell as a gift, or I mean, just something like that to give the client a better experience?
Yeah, so we partner with several real estate agents that will either refer us and we'll give the homeowner a discount and then offer the real estate agent a discount as well for referring us. They may offer their client specifically, hey, I'm going to throw in a video doorbell on this. And then they'll go through us to do that and we'll get it to them at a discounted rate. And that they'll do that gift through their commission payout for longtime loyal customers. I've used the same real estate agent through 5 house purchases. And now when we go into a new house, like he'll throw me uh, a doorbell or some nice incentive just for being loyal to using him.
And the cost on something like that is really negligible. I think, obviously, when you think about it in the scheme of a real estate transaction, if you look at like a video doorbell, what are some of the different product offerings there?
Video doorbells can range anywhere from $100 to $300, just depending on which type you use and how fancy you want it to be, and if it needs to be a custom finish or not. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's not an expensive gift for somebody that's spending $300,000, $400,000 or more to buy a home.
Yeah. Well, and too, if it's something that everybody's asking for, like sometimes I think that, in marketing, we think we have to do all these big grand things. And that ain't true. All we got to do is give people what they want. And if people want this type of feature and it doesn't exist on a home, it's certainly a great gift. It's a great value proposition and it leaves a good taste in the customer's mouth, it sounds like. And then from a cost standpoint, it's just when you consider what it is that you get in return, sounds like a great use of promotional dollars for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, man, this has been a really good conversation. I know it's not been necessarily a long one, but it doesn't seem like it's a topic that requires a lot of conversation. What are some just final tidbits, things that you think are important for real estate agents to know and remember right now when they're talking about home security and home automation with their customers?
The world's a Me Too environment right now. When you're out looking at a home with a client, take a look around at what the other homes around have. And if the home you're listing doesn't have it, make sure you talk about the fact that it's pretty simple to add these features. And there's companies out there that can do it and that you have those contacts. Some other things that are important right now is also being aware of crime rates in the areas where the homes are. Maybe give some statistics. We don't want to be fear mongering at all, but it's good to just educate a client. A lot of times people think neighborhoods have a lot less crime than they really do, or they vice versa. They may think that it's a very high crime rate neighborhood when in reality it's not. Also, be aware of like shrubbery and landscaping and things like that. Those are all security issues for a residence, and those are things we typically don't think of. One of the fascinating statistics the local sheriff's department shared with us is the majority of something like 70% of the break-ins in their jurisdiction were coming through the second story. I would have never thought that. After I heard that, the reason they do it, it makes sense, right? Most people don't put window detectors on the second story because they don't think anybody can get up there. But if there's a tree right beside the house or an easy way to stack trash cans, it's very easy to get onto a second level of a house to raise a window.
Those are a lot of great points. One of the things that real estate agents have to be mindful of is there are things that they can talk about and there's things that they can't talk about. And in certain areas, schools are one of those topics. In certain areas, crime is one of those topics. In situations like that, it's always great to align yourself with solid professionals that you can make introductions and you can make connections to when people do have those concerns. Because obviously, Chuck, if a realtor connected you with a homeowner that wanted to talk about home security, I'm sure you guys would be all about having those discussions and educating the clients. And that's always a great thing to remember, is like, well, I can't really talk about this, but I have a great contact who's very professional that will gladly sit down and educate the customers on whatever their options are, so that they know going into these things what they can and can't do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The big piece of our growth has been referral. We don't do a whole lot of marketing as compared to some other companies out there in the space. We're word of mouth. We're very proud of that. We let our work speak for ourselves, and we do our level best to return the favor as well, right? Like, we don't want to be takers. We actually want to give more than we take.
I love it. Well, this is the time where I don't think just real estate agents, I think all professionals have to really look at how they can add value beyond sometimes what even the clients expect, to provide a great experience for people in real estate especially. So my encouragement for anybody listening to this is just continue to educate yourself on all things related to the home. Because it is your job, right, to have this knowledge and be able to share it in a professional way, and definitely connect with people like Chuck, who can be a valuable resource for you, that you can ask questions to, that you can connect with your clients who can answer some of those questions. And so I think it's just a great way to think about having a professional relationship with service providers that can make you look bigger than maybe you are, and certainly help you stand out as a professional that not only knows a lot about everything related to the house, but also has the connections for things that need to get done. So, Chuck, I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you for a little bit, man. This was a great conversation. I actually learned a few things I was surprised to learn. Some of the things that you were talking about, I didn't realize. So this was awesome, man. I appreciate you spending some time with me.
Yeah, I appreciate the time again, and thank you guys for putting this together.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.